Today's the big day. We're gonna spray some epoxy on this thing. But first, I've gotta clean it. It's not bad now, but I've gotta clean out the trunk. Then I'm gonna obviously mask it off where I don't want stuff to go in. The windows, these openings, the front. Got the fenders and the hood off. So I'll clean that up too. I do wanna do some, little bit of that Scotch pad on there. And the taillight panel right there, just to make sure it has some kind of a thing. I built that rack and the doors are hanging from it, and they're honestly a little heavy for it, but they're fine. Before I epoxy them, I want to put them face down on one of these again, make sure I like where they are. And the deck lid I got to flip over and do the other side, but it's ready too. I'm also going to sand this really quickly, just down to 80 again. I know it's already done, but being bumped around and whatever for probably a month now, I want to make sure it's still pretty good, flat, nice, happy 80 grit. So that is what I'll be doing today. So thanks for watching. You haven't subscribed? Come on, man. Ding. Thanks. Bye. All right, so we got the car outside and I'm gonna sand it down to 80. I've been using the Scotch-Brite pad to clean up a little bit around the taillight panel. The fuel lines just came. How about that? So as soon as I get it cleaned up with the Scotch-Brite pad a little bit, then we'll do the 80 grit sandpaper with the air file and then clean it up with that and some of the prep. Big step. So keep watching. All right, got the car sanded down all to 80 grit, and it's in the big garage here. I'm gonna put these tarps up on the walls so we can cover all my signs and don't get into too much overspray. I've still got to mask the car, which will be another project. That's what seems to happen is you think, oh, I just got to do this. Yeah, but then that's a project, and then it leads into another project, etc., etc. I still got to clean it too. Haven't cleaned it off since I've sanded it. And I'll probably find some areas I want to sand a little bit more as I go, but majority of it is cleaned up. It's 80 grit. We'll get the car masked off and get it clean, and then get the epoxy primer on it. Hopefully today. I don't know, man, it's taking longer than I thought already. Keep watching. Hi there. So as you can see, we're in a relatively clean space. Wow. And today's the day I'm gonna spray the primer. The E-primer? The epoxy primer. So I'm gonna clean it very thoroughly. Okay. First with the shop vac, inside and out, which will take a while, of course. And then with the wax and grease remover. And then I've got to mask the car, which again is another huge job. But I'll get that done. And then we just start rolling. Start spraying. I'm going to start from the roof, do down, treat it like, as Kevin Tates would say, treat it like it's a refrigerator box. So even though there'll be paper here, I'm just gonna get down on my knees, get down there. Haven't decided whether I'm gonna do right here. I probably will, just so it's covered, but I'm not gonna sand it down or just leave it the way it is. Yeah, okay. And I'm sure I'll find some areas when I'm cleaning that I wanna hurry and sand again. I did just yesterday resand the entire body down to 80. And you can see some scuffs right there. So I did it outside and it was super hot and etc., etc. I spilled some wax and grease remover in the trunk, so I got to clean that out. But I know I'm moving around a lot, but I'm just excited. Finally, we're ready to do something. So here we go. Keep watching. Bye. So I vacuumed it out. Now we'll start with some prep, but I think I need to get some gloves. Okay, now I'm going to clean out the trunk a little bit. Then I'll start working on the roof, cowl, quarters, etc. Oh, I should have vacuumed the under the hood. So I'll do that too. All right, here we are. The car is officially taped off. And I gotta say, it is the best tape job I've ever done. You know why? It's the only tape job I've done. Or masking job, whatever you want to call it. Now, after hours of taping this car off, I'm gonna finally EPOXY wax and grease remover. They're not a sponsor, but I saw it on another channel and tried it. It works good. I had this sprayer. It's a pump sprayer, Futon, premium quality. No, I bought it on Amazon. It's crap. Notice there's no sprayer. It stopped spraying. And even when it did, it sprayed so fast, it was like, a big goop of it all the time. So I'm gonna wipe this car down. Oh, by the way, don't buy this. And you can't return it because I let it set for too long before I ever tried it. Anyway, I'm gonna wipe the car down, and then finally, unless I find 15 more problems, which could happen, I'm gonna spray the epoxy primer on. Then I'm gonna probably do 2 coats of epoxy primer, let it set for maybe a day. We'll see. Then I'm gonna put that fiberglass, small strand fiberglass filler over the joints and places I've welded that have pinholes or something like that. So it's all beautiful. And then probably another coat of epoxy over all that. And then we'll do the high build primer. Did I say that right? The high build filler, the sprayable filler. Then, after I sand the entire damn car down again, then we'll be ready for 2K primer, sand that all down. And it sounds like, oh, we'll do that one thing. No, no, no. It takes forever. It took me hours to wrap this car. It's gonna take me hours per panel to do. So, will this be done by the end of summer? Probably not. It'll be way closer. I mean, this summer I have come forward leaps and bounds. Enough talking. Don't forget to subscribe. Come on, I'm working hard to show you how awesome I am. I mean, the car is. Subscribe. Here we go. All right, let's get serious. I've got these this suit on with the funny booties. Can you see these? I'm gonna clean the car one final time with the wax and grease remover and the alcohol, and I'm sweating already. I can feel it. It's 90 degrees outside. I don't know how much it is in here. Then I'm gonna spray. Then I'll spray some epoxy primer on this baby. It's been a long time coming. So here we go. Turn this power on. So I've now cleaned the car with the wax and grease remover and this isopropyl alcohol. 70%. It's not rubbing alcohol, it's isopropyl alcohol. Very important, you don't want to blow up. Now I'm gonna let it sit for a minute while I mix the, the stuff. Epoxy primer. I'm sweating like a pig. I'm gonna take my time. We'll have epoxy primer around here in just a moment. Keep watching. Okay, here we go. All right, so we got epoxy primer on the car, and you know what the biggest problem I had was? Not that the hose would hit the car or too much runs. It was my sweat dripping out and leaving it like a big plop, and then it would just make a big run. And I don't know if there's any way to stop that. I mean, I guess I could do like Kevin Tate's did and put those wipes around my wrist, but I'm not even sure if it's coming from my head or my wrist or what. But this is basically 2 coats and a little bit of striping there, maybe. There's a run, but I think that's from sweat, not from the epoxy primer. Tried to get all the areas that you wouldn't think to make sure, like underneath, wheel wells, under the rockers, door jambs, of course. And that's that. So I'm gonna let it sit probably overnight, and then in the morning do another 2 coats, probably maybe 1 or 2 depending on how I feel in the morning. And then we'll move on to some of that short strand fiberglass stuff, fill in some of the seams that I had to weld, like where I screwed up that quarter and where I put in a new rocker, the sail panel, a couple of things like that. I'll put that on there, sand that down, then do another epoxy primer over probably just that. Then we move on to the sprayable filler. And that will make it all perfectly smooth. I'm not gonna sand this. I'm gonna let it just dry the way it is. If I get it within 3 days, I don't have to sand it again. So, here it is. A lot of work. I'm so sweaty. I mean, I would take off those plastic gloves and it was like I had water filling them. It was ridiculous. Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe now for more entertainment. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
I'm just holding the GoPro in my hand right now. But get on. I can literally wring my shirt out. Check it out. Sweat. That's all.